3.1.6 Always be teaching and learning. While this may fall into the overall category of leading by example, the concept merits its own section. Every day is filled with opportunities to teach and to learn. If a learning organization is desired, everyone, and especially the leaders, need to be a part of this. Just because you've attained a leadership role does not mean your learning has stopped. When delegating work to a new collaborator, there is an efficiency curve where the first few delegations are inefficient, but if done appropriately, things get more efficient over time. One of the ways to make this curve steeper is to take full advantage of opportunities for micro-teaches and lessons. In a face-to-face working environment, this can be really powerful. Where there are several people available, this needs people not to be overscheduled. More than one person can be brought into the micro-teach. Even if they are not going to apply the lesson immediately, they now know which of their peers has not only been taught the lesson, but put it into application. Then, when they encounter a need to use that skill, they don't need to come to you for the lesson, but will come to their peer instead. The peer will then get a chance to teach and reinforce their knowledge. In delivery of these micro-lessons, there is also an opportunity to test the knowledge of some of the people in the room. If they know part of the concepts being presented, invite them to be put on the spot and get them to explain it to the small group. They get a chance to practice public speaking with a friendly audience and by teaching, deepen their understanding of the material. And the apocryphal quote comes to mind: "If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it." You get to see if they really know their stuff, and if they don't, a gentle correction can be applied. It can be made explicitly clear to the people that this is exactly what this is. You get to see if they really know their stuff, and if they don't, a gentle correction can be applied. It can be made explicitly clear to people that this is exactly what it is. In our engineering business, highly technical design concepts would need to be presented to clients. In essence, teaching the sometimes layperson client about some technical concept. Inexperienced people getting a chance to teach is a great way for them to prepare and practice for taking the stage. A virtuous set of behaviors can be established here. The example you are setting for the up-and-comers to pay it forward, you are amplifying and scaling your impact in the sharing of your knowledge by bringing it to others so they can now disseminate the knowledge. Relationship building. This is a gift of your time to these others. Preparing people for real-world client interactions they will be faced with. We are living in the age of the podcast. Time in the car or train while commuting is a great opportunity to expand your horizons, and there is a cornucopia of podcasts that will help with leadership concepts and can be very entertaining. I have found the Jocko podcast by Jocko Willing to be both entertaining and transmitting some really valuable insights into not only leadership, but the human condition. Find a podcast that engages you and make use of this time. When you learn something new, not only to you, but to others in the organization, geek out about it with others. For me, this is something that is done with a sense of genuine joy and excitement. This is infectious. It creates the desired resonance, raising energy levels. Another key aspect of this mindset is as it relates to success and failure. The line from If comes to mind again. If you can meet with triumph and disaster, and treat those two imposters just the same. Success and failure both bring learning opportunities. Don't get too full of yourself for the triumph, and don't let the failure bring you down too much. Learn from what caused both of these and share these lessons with the team so that successes can be repeated and failures avoided. Another great side effect of continuously learning is that it helps to keep you humble. A great experience for me was when, already president of our company in my mid-30s, I decided to get back into martial arts with jiu-jitsu/MMA. The interest was reignited when I enrolled my 5-year-old son. I had some significant prior experience in judo, but it was a great and humbling experience to start again as a beginner and get your butt kicked. Well, ribs, actually. A second way I have stayed humble is to do my own yard work at home. I can afford to hire other people to do it, but getting dirty, digging, doing that laborious work of tending the gardens, cutting the grass, manually weeding, I do the maintenance totally organically, learning and experimenting with different techniques keeps one grounded. Other people I know get grounded by working on cars in the garage. In these examples, when you screw up, you know it. Boy, do you know it when you get submitted in jiu-jitsu. Everyone should find some way to get physically grounded so that you have a solid connection to physical reality to keep and maintain your humility. A last tip on teaching is the use of storytelling. Before the written word, people passed knowledge and wisdom from one generation to another through an oral tradition of storytelling. When lessons are embedded in a memorable story, the learner will be more able to retain the knowledge and, most importantly, the wisdom. Some of the things I consider the most important things I've learned were through teachers telling me their stories. As a teacher, get good at storytelling and find these stories of others and of your own that you can tell well. As a leader, you will probably need to tell these stories in front of groups of people. If you are uncomfortable with public speaking, learn to be better at it. Toastmasters is an organization many people have benefited from to learn this skill. One of my most useful courses in university was a drama course on public speaking. I came away with a greatly improved ability to speak in front of a group, and that has benefited me throughout my career. 3.1.7 Contemporaneous Error Correction. When errors are made, corrections must be applied as soon as possible. Parents know this. If a toddler has made some kind of an error, they will not remember the situation an hour later. Adults may be slightly better. Coaching athletics works the same way. In a practice or game, if a player is making an error, a coach will often immediately make a correction, or depending on the player and the error, wait for a quiet moment as soon as possible to make the error correction. The style of how the error correction is made is important. It should not be done as a personal attack. Why did you do that? Is counterproductive. When the error correction is done properly, the right people are on the bus, i.e. not focused on grievance and not ego-dominated. The feedback is treated as a gift and improvements are made immediately. The above-average coachable player is more valuable than the prima donna. They may not rise to the heights of what the prima donna is capable of, but they are capable of working in a cohesive team and not only getting better results themselves, but making those around them better. Failing to correct the error guarantees that it will occur again and again and again. Resentment then builds. The person making the error may now have gotten into a pattern of doing things a certain way, and error correction will become even harder. Nip it in the bud before the muscle memory is set, and before you and the rest of the team become resentful, and it is harder to do the error correction in an appropriate way. By taking advantage of the error-correcting coachable moments, the competency of the individual is increased, and mutual respect is increased. A virtuous cycle is established if you are doing the error correction well, as now a second generation will do the same thing. Lead by example in this regard. The error correction is not done in a belittling way and should be framed in your mind and delivery as an opportunity for improvement, at least initially. If the message is not being received, more explicit language will need to be used. What you are doing here is incorrect. Further escalation and communication may be needed, but if the message is still not getting through, maybe there's not a good fit and the player isn't coachable and they're lacking in the key ingredient of humility. 3.1.8 Empathetically Listen. Empathetic listening is one of the most important skills in life and especially in leadership. Active listening can be considered a subset of empathetic listening. This is a valuable skill in mentoring and coaching. It is noteworthy that empathy is not the same as sympathy. Empathy is to understand how another person is feeling, understanding the circumstances around their emotional state. Sympathy is feeling the same way as them, presently or in the past, and being in agreement with those feelings. Sometimes sympathy is appropriate, but often not. One of our biggest needs is to simply be heard, especially when we are struggling. In the high-performance, high-stress environment that often comes with service-based organizations, there is a need for people to vent and be heard. Empathetic listening basics involve listening. If your jaws are flapping, your ears aren't working. Get rid of distractions and be fully present. Yes, this means put the damn cell phone away, preferably in airplane mode or out of the room entirely. Simply having the phone visible as a possible source of interruption is enough to degrade the quality of the interaction. Putting it out of sight signals to the speaker that you are engaged and ready to really listen. Paraphrase back. Confirm your understanding of what you think you heard by reiterating what you heard in your own words. Body language. Adopt an engaged and open body position. Do not cross arms or legs. Lean forward slightly. Listen to understand. When listening to the speaker, do not listen with the intent to reply. Listen with the intent to understand the perspective of the speaker. Asking why questions can come off as judgmental, and it is better to ask what, how, when type questions. This will be hard for a lot of engineers as we have been trained in root cause analysis techniques such as 5 whys. It will come with practice. Empathetic listening skill is foundational to servant leadership, and engaging in empathetic listening is done with a mindset of being of service to others, and is key to Covey's 5th habit: seek first to understand, then to be understood. Empathetically listening to someone communicates that they matter to you and will help make them feel respected. That said, you are not a therapist, and that is not your job. There is an argument to be made that as a society we are over-therapied. Life is going to get tough, and a lot of the time the best thing we can do is simply put one foot in front of the other, getting on with it and through it. What is your job, though, is to be aware of when people are struggling and to be able to factor this in when planning and making assignments. You can make people who are struggling aware of resources that the organization may be able to bring to bear to help them. As much as possible, don't solve your people's problems for them. When you solve someone else's problem for them, both the problem and the solution are now yours. Whatever outcomes arise, therefore, are also yours. Help them to solve it on their own by asking open-ended questions and maybe giving the occasional hint. They will get to a point where they will independently solve their own problems. When they have solved their own problem, they will now have more confidence to do so with new problems they have never seen before. This ability is a key part of leading, to face the often frightening unknown with the confidence and courage that you and your team will find a way to solve the problem at hand. Actively listening and helping others develop this problem-solving ability is key to developing future leaders. A close friend and business leader gave me the following metaphor. Someone you are seeking to help has a monkey, or maybe a couple of them, on their back. If you lean in close enough when helping them, the monkey will climb on your back. 3.1.9. Be grateful publicly. As mentioned earlier, the inward expression of gratitude for the vicissitudes in life is powerful. But so is the external expression of gratitude towards those that have contributed. Simple, genuine public expression of appreciation for a job well done can go a long way. It must be genuine, and not for every little thing, otherwise it becomes meaningless. You should tailor the expression of gratitude to the person on the receiving end. The person is more shy and not driven by a hunger for recognition, and more so by stimulation, then the expression of gratitude for a job well done may come with a promise of more interesting work in the future. The personal practice of gratitude will help being able to genuinely be grateful. The personal practice can take the form of meditation or, for people of faith, thanking their Creator on a daily basis. This personal practice even extends to being grateful for hardships and challenges. The ancients, including the Stoics, knew this. Nothing under the sun is new comes to mind. Public gratitude addresses one of the 3 hungers, recognition. But be careful for the people who don't really care that much about it, as it could even make them a bit cynical. For those not really craving recognition, a little goes an even longer way. The opposite is also true. For those hungering for recognition, a public scolding is positively nauseating. Where constructive criticism is needed, it should be done in private. Praise in public, scold in private. Even a group dressing down erodes leadership capital. Is it sometimes called for? Possibly, if a group does something truly egregious. Even then, caution is strongly advised. See Section 3.1.11 for a more complete discussion of the concept of leadership capital. Any kind of public scolding will be corrosive to respect and engagement and burns leadership capital.